In this question, they say that the starting point of the radius of this circle is 10. And then afterward, the another circle is smaller and then it's 0.8 times. 4 for 5, that means 0.8 times of C1. So that means this line is 10 and then times 0.8 times. The another line is 10 times 0.8 again, so accumulate to power of 2. So on and so on. This is power of 3. So obviously we are talking a geometric sequence. And then what is the constraint we have to express is we have to find the least value of n, fulfill this requirement from O1 to On. So that means it's not infinity, but we draw a circle until On here. And then our target is from O1 until On here. We have to find out how long is this length. And someone just tried to add all these together is because you have some perception to the questions. You should look carefully. What is the elements of this length? We have the first section 10 here. We have the second section 10 times 0.8, and also another line is also 10 times 0.8. This section is 10 times 0.8 power of 2, and then we have another one the same. So you'll find that the middle section is double. And the last section here is single. This is 10 times 0.8 power of n minus 1 time. From 1, this is 0.8 power 0. 02, this is 0.8 power 1. So this one should be 1 less than n. So you'll find that the pattern is the first one and the last one just appear once, while the middle part appear twice. And the total length of this line need to exist 84. Larger than 84 is our target. So we try to use n to express in this way, and then the requirement inequality is 84. We are going to solve the inequality afterward. So this is 10, and then plus 2 times of this item, 10 0.8 plus 10 times 0.8 power of 2 until 10 times 0.8 power of n minus 2 here. This part double, and the last part plus 10 times 0.8 power of n minus 1 is larger than 84. We try to solve this one. Some of you try to use the GS formula to get this part. But this is not a very smart method. It's because the number of terms here is not n. So if you use this formula, you can, but the problem is definitely you make mistake about the first n term, and then your power will be wrong. And also you have a new first term which is not 10 but 10 power times 0.8. So it's not really smart method. The first one, the second one, the third one until the n one, this is the first n term already. Just the problem is the first one do not double and the last one do not double. So you can feel free to add one more 10 to make it become 2 times 10. But you have to minus 10 immediately to avoid any value change. Similar reason, the last section, make it become 2 times 10 power times 0.8 power of n minus 1, but we have to subtract 1 time immediately, such that this part there are n terms which is double, and then we can easily use our formula. Is 2 times of 10 plus 10 plus 0.8 plus 10 times 0.8 power of 2 until 10 times 0.8 power of n minus 2, 10 times 0.8 power of n minus 1, the first n term. Just don't forget the last one and the first one. So continue. We apply the formula inside. A, it is 10. The first term is 10. And then we have 1 minus r power of n over 1 minus r. Make sure you memorize the formula correctly. So this is 1 minus 0.8 power of n over 1 minus 0.8. negative 10, and then 2 times 10 first, we have 20 times. 1 minus 0.8 power of n, and then the denominator we can combine, it becomes 0.2. And then minus 10 times 0.8 power of n minus 1, larger than 84. Negative 10 plus 100 times. Now I predicted that the n minus 1 here is very troublesome. I have power of n. I don't prefer power of n minus 1. So it's similar reason I want it, then I just multiply 0.8. At the same time, I can't change the value, so I divide at the same time. The following will become negative 10 times 0.8 power of n, and then we just need to combine 10 divided by 0.8 and change it to a value, which is negative 12.5 times. Then I found some like terms behind. 90 and then minus. These two are like terms, so we can combine them. Negative 112.5 times of 0.8 power of n, larger than 84. We want to make n be the subject, so unwanted material, we move it, become minus 90, and then divide by this factor, so we have 0.8 power of something. And when I divide both sides by negative value, don't forget it's trigger change. And the technique to remove take out n to the front is taking log on both sides. So we take log on both sides. N time of log 0.8 compared with log 6 over 112.5. And finally, we have to divide it both sides by log 0.8. But however, don't forget that log 0.8 because this what inside is less than 1. So basically it's negative value. You can verify that by your calculator. So it's again, its trigger change here is become larger than. We get 13.1359 something something, which means the least value. N is restricted to be integer because we are talking about how many circles. So the least value is 14. Again, to do this question, make sure you read the question carefully. You really understand and try to add the total length, but not just because you want to use this formula. That's why it's just add them together. Usually it's wrong. So we find out that the middle part is double, but it's not easy to calculate the middle part only. So we have to complete the first term and the last term to make it easier to use the formula. We build up the equation or inequality, and then we just use our basic technique, try to isolate n, and also we use logarithm to take out the power here. And finally, we can solve n requirement.